hello, all you dear ones, near and far, both here and then all around the world, those listening and lending their ears. For those who have never met us before, we'll introduce ourselves just briefly here. We are a collective of around 350,000 angels. We work together in complete unity, in reverence and deference to one another, in service to the Archangel Michael. This is our boss, as you would say. And he, in turn, is in service to the Creator, the Lord of all things, within the context of the Christ consciousness, which is not, as you would think, represented by the man, the Christ, but an anointing that comes from a specific aspect of source. And that gets a little complex, so we will keep it simple here, especially for the new. And this vessel is our messenger because she is one of our angelic souls having incarnated to the earth from our collective many lifetimes ago. And she is now just waking up to the fact that she is a part of us. We are a part of her. We are her family. Her origin was angelic in nature, and now she is schlepping it out with all of you. How about that? And so her husband still thinks, no, I don't think she's an angel. I think she's the devil incarnate. And so we're glad you laugh about all of that because, well, humans are a constant source of entertainment for us. But we are speaking with this vessel. Our first interest in her is that she is a part of us. And so, just like if a big brother or sister had care for their younger sibling at the mall and the child ran away and got lost in the crowd, that older sibling would be very intent on finding the young one and bringing the young one back to his or herself. So this is part of our interest in this vessel. She is a part of us. She is one of our littlest angels, and we are reestablishing our connection with her. We've found her. She was lost not in the mall, but in the lower densities and difficulties of human life. Now we are reestablishing our communication with her and mentorship, our oversight and care. So we are her guardian angels in that respect. You also have a Judah. You each have your own guardian angel and angels that watch over you with great care. They love you more than you can ever imagine because they have been with you for all the lifetimes that you have lived, you see. And so they know everything about you. They know you better than yourself because they don't lie to themselves about your strengths and weaknesses, your consciousness and unconsciousness. They're completely in the know, you see. They know your whole story, the whole story of your soul in every incarnation. And yet they still love you. They are faithful and loyal to you till the end. And it is their delight to care and love you and protect you and lead you on your journey. Now, the other reason that we are, as this vessel said, humiliating her in public for our own purposes, is that we are very intent on helping anyone who will come to overcome what troubles them, what disturbs them, what holds them back, whatever makes them feel less than, left out, unwanted, or not belonging. We are here to help each and every one of you on your spiritual journey. You might say, well, I'm not a spiritual person. Well, we would say, sorry, but that's not true. You are, your spirit in your body is what makes you who you are. If your spirit were to vacate your body right now, well, your body would lay dead on the floor and you would be on and off to other things. So whether you think you're spiritual or not, we assure you that you are. We are here to help any and all who come to us who are suffering in any such way in the human condition and want to remember who they are and be more of that. Be more of their divine self. Uncover their purpose and move towards that in a real and powerful way. So we're all about this process, which some people call awakening, some people call salvation, some people call moving towards enlightenment. We don't really care what you call it. We just want to help you reduce your pain and experience more pleasure and fulfillment and more of your unique divinity and how it expresses itself in the earth. This is why we are here. We help anybody who is serious. We are available to anyone who calls our name, much like those who pray to the Lord Jesus or to Father Abraham or to the Buddha. We are vibrant, we are full of power, we are full of life-giving, life force energies, and we can remove blocks, and we can lift and elevate your state of being. When you're in the room, you will likely feel this elevation. You will feel it like a lift, like a bird who feels wind underneath their wings. You may feel some bubbles and pops and tickles and twitches. You might sneeze or cough or sigh. And if this happens to you, any other physical sensations you feel, it is because we are shifting and moving you out of lower, denser energies of sad, fear, anger, and into more of your natural state, which is joy and happiness and love. And you may say, well, I've never really felt love, Judah. Well, we're here to change that. There's plenty of love for you. There's no love. Love's not running out around here. It's on tap, endless tap. So go ahead and imbibe and take in as much as you can. And we will be on standby to assist you in retaining it and sustaining it and elevating your state until you are overflowing with love and you are an endless well and supply for all those who come to you. Now we're going to turn it over to this vessel. There's a lot to do tonight because we want to open up your crown chakra. We want to literally give you a grace from, some of you may call it heaven, from the other side, from the cosmos. We don't care what you call it. We're not big on getting hung up on words around here. We want you instead to have an experience of an energy that is transformative, you see. What is it that transforms a caterpillar into a butterfly? Do you know? It is a mystery, is it not? And yet it happens nevertheless. So we are here to bring those transformative energies to you if you want them. Now, we are very loud and authoritative, but we are never telling you what to do. We respect your free will. So don't misinterpret our loudness or authoritarian tone as being bossy, because we are not. Make your own choices. Take what you like and leave the rest. And if you so choose to go all the way with us, you will find there is no limit whatsoever to what you can do or experience in our presence. Good. All right, that's a good start. That's crazy, isn't it? It's really weird.
I was watching her.
It feels good though. Feels like it's odd, but it feels like being in my own skin. So, and it doesn't hurt. All right, so what a better way to begin 2024 than starting at the top with the crown chakra. The crown chakra is the ultimate. It is nirvana. It's bliss. It's the pinnacle of the human experience. There are people in this room who have experienced energy zipping both down through their crown chakra and up through their crown chakra, and have had beautiful moments of that, and they can tell you that it is delightful. Sometimes when you have this experience, you might see a brilliant flash of white light. Okay? Other times you just feel really peaceful and lighter than air and really, really good. So this pinnacle is called sometimes in our culture enlightenment or self-realization, depending on what segment or culture you come from. When Chuck and I met and I first went to visit him in the mountain house, which now I get to share with him, which is lovely. I was going straight up this mountain, which is 5,000 feet up. And when I got to the place where I turned into the house, there was a street sign, Pinnacle. I said, wow, Pinnacle. Something's cooking around here, right? The crown chakra is the most powerful of the 7 chakras in the body. There are other chakras above that we know of, and there are ways to connect with that. But we're going to focus on the ones in our body. That's plenty to do. And by the time we get to that one, and that crown chakra is lit up, you won't even care what's over there beyond that, because it's so much fun. So our encounters with Judah, with archangels, with the Holy Spirit, they clue us into what's beyond this crown chakra. They give us a glimpse into it and an experience, and it's really, really, really glorious. But meanwhile, there are people on the earth who have completely, fully opened this energy center of the crown chakra and dwell consistently and sustainably as human beings in that, from that energy center, in which they are receiving divine information in a very open and receptive fashion, just like a cell tower receives signals all day long. And those people have become our greatest teachers. Jesus, the Buddha, Muhammad. And we've built all these structures around them and ideologies and ways of thinking. Some of them are good and helpful. Some of them are not. And if you're like me, I grew up in a Christian background, and in my background, I listened to people who were not enlightened teach me about an enlightened man named Jesus, which doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? So people who were struggling with sadness, fear, and anger, and yet they were telling me about this man that lived here and what I should think, feel, and believe about him. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It's my opinion, which you should only count for a cent or two. My 2 cents is that I don't think Jesus or the Buddha or Muhammad or any of these great beings ever intended for us to build up religions and ideologies around them. That's just my thought. So when we talk around here in the Judah channel, as we're learning together, when we talk about the crown chakra, we will likely call it the violet ray. The pinnacle of human experience is the place where we're receiving information from angels, from source. And it says here, this is the experience of the violet ray or crown chakra. I am God in service to all. What I mean by that is not that you're all of God, right? But you are part of God in a body, in a human experience. You are divinity. You are an aspect, a fragment, a fractal, a piece of all that is of divinity in a body. I am God in service to all. A person who lives consistently in this crown chakra, they don't care anything about themselves, right? They just serve. That's all. They rearrange everything about their life and their relationships and their finances and their health. They rearrange everything to be of service to others. And they do not need anything in return for that. I am pure beingness. I move all things, and nothing moves me. They take full responsibility for creating everything that happens in their life. I am ineffable. That means no matter what's going on, good, bad, indifferent, war, peace, distress, ease, they're okay in their center. They're okay. They're at peace. So enlightenment, fully embodying this energy center in our crown, is our spiritual inheritance. And no one is excluded from that. No one. You know, the story of Christmas, it's, you know, and this is, again, an opinion. I try to differentiate between what's my opinion and what Judah's saying, right? It's my opinion that it's probably mostly folklore at this point. But what we can take out of it that's beautiful from the story, and I do believe that Christ was a person born on the earth, yes. So what we can take away from it is that every child that's born on the earth, no matter whether they're in the most humble of circumstances or the most elevated of circumstances, has the potential to be an enlightened servant to humanity. And isn't it interesting that the Christ was born with absolutely nothing in a feeding trough in a barn, and the Buddha was born as a prince and a king who had every extravagance afforded to him? So isn't it interesting that that enlightenment came to them both from two completely different contexts? So as we work on this crown chakra, violet ray, we can work from the top down or from the bottom up. Okay, top down or bottom up. And everybody's in this process, whether they're aware of it or not, right? Some people are unconsciously kind of mucking around through the process, but they will one day wake up to their potential. And others are, like us, are more intentional seekers. When we're working from the top down, there's this natural grace, which I'm asking for you for tonight, that someone's from the other side just touch you and just give you a gift, just a gift, a presence and grace and mercy. And then others times we're just kind of slogging it out in life, right? We're just mucking through our own fears and anxieties and anger and distress. But whether we're working bottom up or top down, we're going to get where we're going. King David in the Hebrew scriptures says, "You are gods, you are all sons of the Most High." He didn't say you are gods, some of you are sons of the Most High. He said you all are sons of the Most High. And Jesus said in John 14, "Whatever I've done, whatever I've become, you will be and do even greater things than I did." So, see, it's not an exclusive party, right, where we're setting up everything in worship of this one person. No, he's saying, wait a minute, let's all together do what I did, do it in your own way, and together let's worship all that is, the source, the creator. So many of you have already started experiencing this opening and firing of your crown chakra. And eventually you'll come to really consistently embody that on a regular, sustainable way. So one thing I just want to mention is that our overall approach to spiritual growth here is that embodying the crown chakra is not something that you have to work for. It's not something that you effort for. It's not an attainment that you're going to get for being good. It's simply remembering who you are. Remembering. Just remembering. It's waking up to your divinity. It's natural. It's effortless. It's easy. Being this kind of enlightened person that's constantly communicating with Source and Spirit and angels, that's what you were created to be. And so to realize this state is more like the opening of a flower, right? When flowers are blooming in the spring, you don't go outside and pull the petals back so that it blooms. right? There's no effort involved. It just happens, right? So there's 3 tasks for beginning to get into this crown chakra. The first one is to relax. The second one is to refine your desires. And third is to release attachments as they come into your awareness. So we'll talk about each of these 3. First, relax. The shortcut to everything in life, spiritual life particularly, is just to relax, right? Resistance is the enemy. Because the primary fruit of or result of being in this crown chakra space is just peace. Total peace. Nothing ruffles your feathers when you're in this space. Sri Ramana Maharshi said, the idea that there is a goal is wrong. We are the goal. We are always at peace. So to get rid of the idea that we are not peace is all that's required. See if you can tap into that right now. There's nothing required, right? You can just relax. And Judah asks that you begin to just touch these crown chakras and open them up. And bring your peace. Yeah, very good. Very good. And Jesus was called the Prince of Peace. Yeah. So relaxing is the first one, right? And sometimes to relax, we have to say things like, so what? Who cares? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Whatever we have to do to just help ourselves relax, right? The second task for getting in this space is to refine our desires. So even though we're not efforting to get into this state of enlightenment, this pinnacle of the self, it is, however, something that we can desire. Desire is different than effort, right? Different than effort. Kids really desire that perfect gift at the holidays, right? But they don't effort for it. Well, they might. They might try to brown nose with mom and dad to get it. But so the intensity of our desire will actually draw us into the experience. I used to have a little dog named Bailey. She was such a sweetie. And she was really well trained and so loving. And I might be eating something and she would want some of it. And, you know, we had trained her that that's a big no-no to beg for food, right? But she would come and sit at my feet. And she would just look up at me with these big brown eyes. And she wouldn't whimper. And she wouldn't beg. But she knew what she wanted. She really wanted a bite of that, whatever it was that I had. And just the intensity of the desire, and she wouldn't move, right? She'd just sit there, just keep waiting in the hopes that she was going to get a taste. And of course, I would break down and give her some. Interesting, because in the New Testament, the Greek word for worship is proskuneo, which means a dog licking its master's hand or kissing its master's hand. So there's this like thing that can rise up in us where we're like, I remember, I'm going to cry when I talk about this, years ago where I'm still deeply entrenched in the Christian faith and I was doing all the stuff, right? I was being the good girl, the good wife, the good mother, the good teacher, always there every time the church doors open, serving, doing everything I knew that I could do, but I was still suffering a lot inside. And I remember praying, I was like, God, I don't know how to live. Please show me, because I don't know how. I don't know what it is I'm missing, right? And I said that many times. And don't you know that source, that God hears that, right? That intensity of desire. And always answers it, no matter what our context is. right? No matter what our context is. So throughout our spiritual process, our desires are being refined, right? If you're in this red ray where you just feel very sad and despairing, and it's like life is just doing shit to you and just doing more and more shit to you, and you feel victimized and out of control, like you have no control of your life. The desire here might look like, I just want to stop suffering. I want to stop suffering. I want to stop being a victim of what I'm doing to myself, of what life is doing to myself and other people are doing to myself. That's what the desire looks like. In the yellow ray and the orange ray, the desire looks like, I just want to finally master my own thoughts and emotions and my finances and my personal experience and my relationships. I just want to find some power in I want to take back my power, right? That's the desire. Take back our power from other people, places, and things we've given it to, and from the stupid stuff we do to ourselves. In the green ray, we start having the desire to really take responsibility for ourselves. To look at, we own, okay, a lot of this I'm doing it to myself, and I'm willing to buy the truth now. I'm willing to own the truth. And we begin to start negotiating and looking at things and being willing to accept what's our part, willing to admit the truth that we're creating our own reality. So, and we desire to love in this green ray space. We just want to love. We want to learn how to love. I had a friend in my many years of Christian faith. He was a real spiritual dad to me. He was in his 80s and he died, and he was revived. And he said that while he was dead, he saw Jesus, and Jesus said to him, "Did you learn to love?" Right? And so when he came back, that was always his message. Did you learn to love? And so then when we get in these blue and indigo rays, our desire is changing because we've learned how to love. And we're just loving all the time, and we just feel like an endless well of love in that green ray space. So when we get in the blue and indigo ray, the love, we're experiencing so much love, but life is messy because of it, right? Have you ever loved somebody too much? Or loved too much, or given too much, or served too much? So in those blue and indigo rays, we start to have this desire for wisdom. Like, ooh, I need more, my human wisdom. Everything that's been taught to me, everything I've learned and read in a book is not enough. I need some higher wisdom for the living of my life. And in those rays, we begin to really have the desire to serve other people and to figure out, why am I really here? What the heck am I doing here? You know, and I talk to people, for you young ones, listen, because I'm telling you, I'm going to go ahead and tell you what it's like when you're 50 and 60, because I work with people in this age bracket all the time that wake up and they have the car, they had the spouse, have or had the spouse. They've had the vacations and the dream job, and they did all the stuff, and they wake up in their 50s or 60s and go, I don't even think that's why I'm here. What have I been doing? Anybody relate to that? And so it's like they have a new beginning. So in the violet ray, we finally evolve into this desire. We just release every attachment, and we just want to be reunited with our higher self and with God. It's this place of oneness and union. So worship magnetizes us into this experience of bliss. And I hate to even say the word worship, because when I say it, it's got all these yucky connotations all around it, right? For some of you, it's this terrible memory of like being so bored, standing in a pew, holding a book in your hand and singing these weird words that you have no idea what they mean, and everybody's just blah, 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 or maybe it's, having to sit down for Pesach, with your crazy family, or laying flowers in front of a Buddha statue. Worship has all sorts of different meanings for different people. So, but what is it? Is it singing hymns? Is it wearing a yarmulke? Is it going to church? Is it yoga? Is it meditation? What is it? Well, the action or modality of worship really does not matter. What's important is the quality of your heart. It's the quality of your heart and the vibrational energy. When my grandfather died, as far as I know, he never went to church except for when his daughter got married. And I was asked to sing for his funeral, so I sang this song. He loved to be in the garden. He was always in the garden. That was his happy place, right? And the other thing about my papa was that everywhere he went, he had a case of apples, or he had bags full of chewing gum, packs of chewing gum. And everywhere he went, he would give every stranger he saw an apple or a pack of chewing gum. And when he was sick in the hospital, and even after he died, people brought bushels of apples in remembrance of him. But he loved to be in the garden. And when he died, I sang at his funeral this old song that I knew. I come to the garden alone while the dew is still on the roses, and the joy I hear ringing in my ear, the Son of God discloses, and he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me I am his own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. So when I talk about all these things here, it's not because I'm trying to shoot your sacred cow. I'm really not. If you can go to church tonight or tomorrow and you can experience the raw, visceral presence of God, please go. And if you can't, don't, right? But only you know what is worship for you. Only you know what is surrender for you. There are people in pulpits that are complete narcissists that do not care about God or anyone else. They talk a good game. And then there are people who are there who are full of divine love and high service, right? But only you know what is worship for you. So worship is not about what you do. It's having a love affair with life, right? And whatever that looks like for you, do that. If it's taking care of dogs, if it's cooking for people, if it's changing an elderly person's diaper, whatever it is for you that lights you up, that makes you feel full of life, if it's writing, if it's singing, whatever it is, do that, right? It's like, think about when you fall in love. When you're in love, you're totally blind to the flaws of the other. Completely blind. You don't care. You might even see it. It might be glaring right in your face, and you just ignore it. Or am I the only person that's done that? Right? So worship is having a love affair with the life. Whatever's happening in life, difficult things, war, misunderstanding, hurt, car accidents, diseases, whatever's going on in your life, you still are in love with life. You're in love with life. You see the disease or the sadness or the tiredness or whatever it is you're struggling with, but you still just love life, right? This is the attitude of a worshiper. You see, life is perfect and flawless. You know, you trust that it is what it's supposed to be, and that whatever you're going through in this moment is exactly what the doctor ordered. So when we inhabit this crown chakra, this is the feeling of our life, and it's not something you trump up. You either feel it or you don't, right? You can ask, you can desire it, you can say, help me, Father. You know, I had someone in a comment, hopefully they're listening. They were listening to a channel that we did from Archangel Michael recently, and they commented in the section below. They said, in the channel, Michael used the word Father and Jesus, and it was upsetting for them. They said, I don't think angels use those words. They're exclusionary. And I can understand their point. I can see how it would feel exclusionary to some people, right? But do you know why Jesus used the word Father? Because Jesus, now in the scripture it says, in some of the Gospels it says he had a father named Joseph who adopted him, right? But in some of the Gospels it does not. So that's a point of dispute historically. But even if he had Joseph there as a stepfather, he still was treated as a bastard in his culture, right? He was born to a young, unmarried mother. She was likely around 14. So imagine all the trauma of being a bastard child in that day and time, in that generation. So can you understand why Jesus called God Father? Abba actually was the word he used, which means Papa or Daddy. Can you see that why that was important to him? Because God was what he had not had. And that is what God is for you. God is everything that you need in life that you've not had, is the fulfillment of that for you. You know, there's a story of worship that I love in 1 Samuel, and it's about King David. And King David had made up his mind that he wanted God in his kingdom. He wanted presence. He wanted the experience, the reality of spirit, of presence in his kingdom. He did not want to rule the people of his nation without that. And so he'd gone about trying to find the Ark of the Covenant, which represented God's presence, and bring it back to his country. And he went through all these ordeals in this process of trying to make this happen. And finally he had this ark, which represented the presence of God. And he was going, and for some of you listening to Judah or some other experiences you may have, you may feel the presence of God come, right? So they were bringing in this ark, and David was rejoicing, like flipping out crazy, worshiping. He was dancing. He was wearing, first of all, he'd just totally gone off the rails because he took the high priest's garments, their special garments that they wore, and he put them on, which was totally sacrilegious for him to do that. By him doing that, he was saying, I have the authority to communicate directly with God. Well, that's what I'm telling you guys. You have the authority to talk directly to angels and source. I'm not like unique in that, right? It might seem unique because of the way it expresses itself through me and channeling, but I'm not unique in that. So David was being really, kind of in your face by wearing this high priest robes. He was not supposed to do that. That was a huge no-no. In that culture, to do something like that would be like, stepping out in front of a train. You're going to die. So he's dancing and he's rejoicing, he's celebrating, and he goes just out of his mind in this ecstatic dance. He dances so hard that his clothes fall off, and he's naked, and he's dancing naked in front of all these people, and he does not care what they think about him. He's just caught up in bliss, in nirvana, in enlightenment, in just totally taken up in this presence, right? And I love that story. And his wife, she was up in her queen chamber, being her queenly self, and she looked down from the window and saw him acting like a fool. And she was pissed. She was pissed because he was ruining his reputation and in front of his people by acting in this way. You okay? Oh, no, don't take your clothes off. It's all right. Yeah. You can if you want to, but it's not necessary. She looked down and she was really mad, right? And so she's very sarcastic and gets in his face later and said, look at you acting the fool, being naked like the riffraff, like an idiot in front of all the maidens of Israel. He said, basically, this is my paraphrase, you can read it in 2 Samuel 6. He said, if you think that's bad, stick around because I'm going to continue demeaning and humiliating myself. Right? Yeah. And so that's one of the ways you know you're in this crown chakra space. You don't care. You love life. You don't care anymore what people think. You just are in this pure state of worship. It's this pure state of beingness. And interesting because in the Bhagavad Gita, which is the Hindu scripture, Krishna, who is another name for God, all that is, said this: however men try to reach me, I return their love with my love. Wait a minute. However men or women try to reach me, I return their love with my love. Whatever path they may travel leads to me in the end. Even the seemingly heartless criminal, if he loves me with all his heart, will certainly grow into sainthood as he moves towards me on this path. Quickly that man becomes pure. His heart finds eternal peace. No one who truly loves me will ever be lost. All those who love me and trust me, even the lowest of the low, prostitutes, beggars, and slaves, will attain the ultimate goal. You know, I remember years ago going to 12-step because, you know, my life was a wreck and I was married to an alcoholic and the church wasn't really able to help me. And there was a woman there that would constantly refer to God as a she, and it would just drive me freaking crazy that she would do that. And I remember sitting there and thinking, well, she just doesn't know the truth, and isn't that sad? And isn't that arrogant, right? Isn't that arrogant? And Krishna is saying here, whatever path you travel, it's all going to lead back to God. Everybody's going to experience this explosive white light, bliss and glory that happens in the crown chakra. And as I was writing these notes tonight, Judah said to me, some of the most enlightened people on the planet are in prison houses tonight. You know why? Because they've had everything stripped from them. And they're surrendered. They have no more attachments and they're surrendering. And it's interesting because in the New Testament it says that Jesus hung out with prostitutes and sinners, right? So I wonder, is it because he read this in the Bhagavad Gita and was taught this by his spiritual teachers? Because the Bhagavad Gita was written about 500 years before Christ was born. Okay, I think I need to start winding it down. All right, let's go through a little bit on attachments. You guys doing okay? Yeah. Okay. We'll stop in about 5 more minutes and we'll do questions and anything else you guys want to do. So relax, refining desires. And just think about that. One of these days we're all going to be like, Chuck, we're going to be ready to just take our clothes off. Like really, like whatever it takes, right? To be reunited with our divinity, to be reunited with the one who loves us the most and birthed us into this universe and knows everything about us and still loves us and forgives us. So, and the third task is releasing attachments. That is the task. It's the one that I'm working on a lot right now. And it's getting a little easier, but it's a big one. Releasing attachments to our family, our partners, our children, our life's work. I talk to so many people that have been doing a particular beautiful, admirable life work for 20, 30, 40 years, and they're waking up and realizing, oh, this is just rubbish. What do I do now? Letting go of attachments. So some synonyms for this, just to help you think through what does this feel like to let go of attachments, is to become neutral about things. Neutral. Neutrality is the gateway to the crown chakra. I could get well or not. I could be healed or not. I could have enough rent for my to pay my rent this month or not. But I trust life, right? Once you're neutral on a topic, you can begin to change it, but you can't change it while you're attached to it and resistant. Some other synonyms would be accepting the good and the bad. That's sometimes called non-duality. Divine indifference. Being detached, letting go, surrendering. Observing, just observing and letting life do what it does and people do what they do, and just observing it from an unattached, uninvolved kind of perspective. Being uninvolved, just getting out of it, right? Dispassionate. Sounds weird because it sounds like the opposite of compassion. But if you can grasp this, sometimes the best way to be the most compassionate is to be dispassionate, to be unattached. So sometimes this state of unattachment looks like not caring or being aloof or emotionless or even kind of deadpan. And that can be upsetting for people. If you ever watch Osho's old videos, who was Chuck's spiritual teacher, you know, he has this totally deadpan expression all the time. So you can tell the most hilarious jokes, but he never cracks a smile when he's telling the jokes, right? But the people who are in this crown chakra ray consistently are extremely rare, but they can have this sort of quality that they're never upset by anything. You could hold a gun to their head and say, give me all your money and I'm going to kill you. And they would say, okay, and hand it over. And they wouldn't be disturbed by it. Ramana Maharshi described this kind of enlightenment this way. He said, when you truly feel love for all beings, when your heart has expanded so much that it embraces the whole of creation, you will certainly not feel the need to give up this or that. You will simply drop off and out of secular life like a ripe fruit drops from the branch of a tree. And you will feel that the whole world is your home. So what this non-attachment looks like at this level is, imagine your love for your spouse, right? Or for your children. When you're in this crown chakra ray, you feel that for everybody. And so there's not one particular person or certain particular persons that feel special to you anymore. Everyone you love the same. All right. I think I need to wind it down. So I think we need to save more about attachments for next week. But the last thing I'll share, just for you can kind of chew on this week, is our most common attachments are being attached to sense pleasures, the fine car, the great food, sex, beautiful environments. Attachments can be attachments to our bodies, right? Attachments to our bodies. I'm attached to my body. I'm afraid of dying. Being attached to our roles. The big one for me, the biggest attachment for me is being attached to my role as a wife and as a mother. It's really hard for me to let that one go. It doesn't mean that I won't always love my kids, but there is this kind of transition that happens where everyone are my children now, and I'm of high service to everyone that comes to me. And so I can't need something from my kids, need a special love or a special affection, right? A special relationship from them. It just shifts. It's a little hard to explain. And then common attachments would be attachments to goals, dreams, plans, expectations, doctrines, groups, particular groups of people, or culture, right? Okay, I'll stop there. Anybody have anything they want to ask or share?
Do you actually have physical sensitivity in your crown when things are occurring?
Mhm.
Okay, like tenderness.
Yeah, or you might feel like a tickling feeling, or you might feel a little pressure, like someone's pressing on the top of your head.
Feels like you've had a ponytail all day.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yep, exactly. And I do want to, if you're up for a little adventure, I'd like to just come around and just give you a little tap or love or blow on the head and just open up that crown chakra. Does that sound good? Do you guys want?
I've got one thing to share.
Yeah, please.
One, it's great to see what this has become, but yeah, I used to be like very skeptical of this, and it was very odd for me. And I've always, I think, just being a guy, just struggled to like actually receive stuff. But I'm finally in a place where I feel like I can get like prayers answered, and like I'm much more receptive of just kind of allowing. So just wanted to share that.
Cool, thank you. Thanks, Amos. We always love having you here, sweetie.
Thank you.
Anybody feeling something going on in your crown chakra already? Yeah. Well, let's just start there. So close your eyes if you feel to. And just kind of drop into an alpha, theta meditative state. The reason I ask you to do that is because when you're in a relaxed meditative state, kind of when I say alpha and theta, that's the state that your brain is in when you're just getting ready to fall asleep, or you're just waking up in the morning, or when you're just really daydreaming and zoned out. So the reason I want you to drop into that state, because in that state, your brain is more moldable. It has more plasticity. And so you're more able to receive, understanding that your pineal gland is right in the center of your head, right behind your third. This is why we call it the third eye, because it's here. Your pineal gland is in the center of your head, right behind this area. Jesus called it the single eye. He said, if your eye, not plural but eye singular, is full of light, your whole body will be full of light. Okay, anybody follow with that? So he was talking about your third eye. And so this is what we're actually doing tonight. You're actually going to get a touch when Jesus said, let your eye be full of light, so your whole body will be full of light. So you're actually opening up this pineal gland, activating it, so that your whole body can be full of this white light energy. So you may see people start moving, and you think, wow, what is going on there? Okay, so if you see that, just know that it's there, the vibrational quality, the level of energy, life force energy running through their body is increasing, and that's why their body is kind of moving, maybe because sometimes we're not used to running those levels of energy. It's kind of like if you plugged something, that wasn't meant for a 220 into a 220, and then it's just like, right? So it's kind of like that. So there is a time period of adjustment, right? That's one of the reasons why people usually are not suddenly enlightened and then stay in that state. They'll tend to have experiences of bliss. They could last a few minutes, they could last a few days, maybe a couple of weeks, and then they'll tend to come back out of that for a while. And then later they'll revisit it again because there's an adjustment phase, right? Your body has to get used to running the levels of energy. So I want you to relax, not because I'm hypnotizing you or doing any voodoo on you, okay? It's because I want your brain to be receptive, to be receiving and relaxed. Okay. So I don't mind touching you, and I will do that to help facilitate. If you don't want to be touched, it's totally fine. It will not hurt my feelings. You can just, cross your arms over your chest when I come by so that I'll know that you're not open for that. And it's no pressure at all. Some of you that are ready, I'll just kind of assist by letting Judah bring some of their energies through. But you don't have to wait on me either. You could just go ahead and enter into this state. It's really a matter of your faith, right? Knowing this is your inheritance as a child of God, for your body to be full of white light energy. When you look at old and ancient pictures of saints in the Hebrew tradition, in the Vedic traditions, in the Christian traditions, there's always a halo around their head, right? Why? Because that's a real thing. That is a freaking real thing. For you to glow, for you to have so much white light energy in your crown chakra area that you're literally lit up with it. Okay? All right, are we ready? All right. Do you want to help me? Or you just want to sit? It's okay, you don't have to talk. He's the wisest man in the room because he's quiet. And we're going to get that third eye too while we're at it tonight. You might not feel anything, and that's fine. That doesn't mean nothing's happening. So don't let your mind tell you stupid things like that. But you might feel a sensation of like a drill going into the top of your head or into your third eye. Or you might hear the sounds around your head might shift. Like you might suddenly hear this, or like a buzzing, or like tinnitus type of sound can sometimes happen. Beautiful.
gets the urge to do any singing or dancing, you're welcome. Take more if you can. That's right. Go ahead. That's right. Take as much as you can. Good. So, Judah, let each and every one of these be completely open to receive revelation, insight, wisdom from heaven, from all loving and high consciousness sources, from Source Himself, Herself, from the Father, Mother, God, and from you, Judah, from their guardian angels, and all of their guides. Yes. Good, 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 good. Yes, good, 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 good. Good. Ha! Oh! Yeah! Oh! Yeah! Ah! Ha! Ha! Oh! Ha! 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 Judah, please turn up and increase everything you're doing here. Increase it.
As much as you can, give them as much as they can receive safely on a physical, emotional, spiritual level. Just increase, increase, increase. Anybody? How you doing? You doing okay? Are you doing good?
Real tender.
A little tender?
Real tender.
Yeah. Okay, does anybody have things that you want to ask Judah about? It can be any topic, or we can channel, or the Pleiadians, or anything you guys have. Any burning desire of something you want to... Yeah.
I do have a question.
Okay, dear.
So in October, I went to a ayahuasca retreat,
Mm-hmm.
and on the second night, I did feel, I saw the orb, blue red orb, and a white flash. And ever since then, there's been a lot of activity going on.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm assuming it takes time for it to really connect.
Mm-hmm. Well, I will tell you, if you're seeing, are you seeing, when you say a lot of activity, has it been...
Tingling and
Mhm.
pressure and things like that.
Yeah. So a lot of times when you're entering into what I'll call a channeling state, which is basically just all of this opening up, your spiritual gifts are from your throat chakra up. It will feel a lot of times like tingling. It can feel like pressure in here, pressure in your ears. Sometimes you might even feel like, ooh, maybe I'm getting an ear infection. Anybody ever had that feeling? Okay, that's what that is the atmosphere around you changing. The vibrational quality is really going up energetically. There's more energy, and your body is just, making some adjustments there. So you're already there, sweetie. That's what all of that's telling you is something opened up for you when you did that ceremony, and now all of these spiritual gifting areas are open. So the only thing that's needed is to relax into it and begin having conversations in faith, and saying, when you see those lights or those tingles or the sensations, you say, hi, thanks for coming. If you want to tell me your name, that would be cool. Or if you want to give me some impression about why you're here, that would be great. But thanks for being here, right? And you just start acknowledging it, right? Like, imagine what it would feel like if every time you came home at night, your spouse did not acknowledge that you'd come in the door, right? And they just went and watched TV and never spoke to you, right? So these beings, they start coming around. They're attracted to you for different reasons. And so then just go ahead and kind of try to develop a relationship with them, just like you would with somebody you meet for coffee that you're going on a first date with, right? So you just say, hi, thanks for being here. And if you're feeling that pressure or that tingling, if you can, go ahead and sit down, take a few minutes and just get still, get quiet, get meditative, and say, thanks for being here. Can you, you're welcome here. Please increase what you're doing. Is there anything you want to tell me? And just listen. So when your angels are speaking to you, they're not shouting at you with a megaphone, right? And there's no dynamite or, fireworks. It's just very simple thought impressions. They speak to us telepathically. And you're like, well, yeah, but I can't do that. Well, yeah, you can. You do it all the time, and you just don't realize it necessarily, right? Have you ever had you're thinking about somebody and then they call you like a minute later? That's telepathy. You've already connected with that person even before you answer the phone or they dialed your number, right? So this is how angels speak to us. They speak to us telepathically, and it won't feel necessarily like some other entity. You just will feel the energy kind of shift or change or lighten, or you'll feel kind of a lift or this pressure, and then you just will have these thoughts in your head, and your mind will say, oh, that's just you. Well, maybe it is. So what, right? If it's uplifting, I wouldn't get twisted in a knot about it, right? But more than likely, it is an angel speaking to you. So one of the things you could do is when that starts happening, you could get out a voice recorder and just say whatever's coming to your mind, or you could get a pen and paper and just start writing what they say to you. So let's just let's just do this right now. Would you guys like to see me teach her how to channel and talk to her angels so that you can do it? What's your name, sweetie?
Roxanne.
Roxanne. Okay, so just drop into that meditative state again, okay? Okay, so I'm going to ask yes or no questions just for clarity, just to keep it really simple. Okay, and so this is the way you start at home. You start with yes or no questions, and then eventually you'll start hearing more. So Roxanne, I'm going to ask you a yes or no question, and you just feel in your inner being what the answer is, okay? You just sense yes or no. Okay? So Roxanne, so I want to ask, were there guides or angels or spirit guides that were introduced to Roxanne at the ayahuasca ceremony? No. Okay. And so were there any beings that she encountered during that ceremony or not?
Yes.
And are those beings still present with her?
I believe so.
Okay. And were they present before the ceremony?
No.
So they're new? Are they new in Roxanne's life, these beings?
Most likely.
Okay, good. And so you're doing great, sweetie. Let your mind just kind of melt and just answer right from the center of your chest, your heart, okay? So, okay. How many beings did Roxanne meet in this ayahuasca ceremony?
One.
One. Okay, and are you still with her here tonight?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Are you an angel?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So you came from source energy as an angelic being, is that correct? Yes. You can see her smiling. Are you Roxanne's guardian angel?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So just to be clear, were you with her? You've been with her all along, is that right? But she just first became aware of you at the ceremony, is that correct? Okay. Can you drop your name into Roxanne's mind, please? There it is. You've got it. What is it?
I thought I had it. I don't.
It's okay. Just relax. You're doing great. Okay, so ask the angel in your inner being.
Manuel comes to mind.
Manuel. Okay, very good. So we'll just confirm that. So guardian angel of Roxanne, is your name Manuel? Yes, good. So Manuel, would you please begin to teach Roxanne how to develop a relationship with you and communicate with you? Yes. Okay, so just take a moment, sweetie, and just sense what Manuel feels like, and what it feels like when you're connected with him.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Feels different than your normal state, right? Mm-hmm. All right, great. Anybody else want to try that? Yeah? Okay. Tell me your name again, sweetie.
Carolyn.
Carolyn. All right, let's do it with Carolyn as well. Okay, so just relax, Carolyn. I'm going to ask you yes or no questions. Okay, and just let your mind kind of melt. You don't have to think. Just you're going to feel, like with your intuition, a yes or a no in your heart center. Okay. So, are there any angels assigned to Carolyn that would be willing to speak with us tonight?
Yes.
Yes, okay. And how many of you are there with Carolyn?
Lots.
Lots. Good. So, are you a group? Good. Okay. So, thank you, angels, for being present with Carolyn. Could you please merge your consciousness with her individual consciousness? Good. Now, watch her face and you can see that you see the change happening. Do you see the transformation happening? Feels wonderful, doesn't it, sweetie? You can feel how much they love you, don't you? You see that? Can you guys see that? Yeah, it's fine. Go ahead and cry. It's all right. You see the transformation, right? You can see that she feels their love for her as she's making this connection. So just stay right there, Carolyn, and enjoy it while I talk to these guys. So what's happening is her consciousness, her individual consciousness, which is her higher self, which is the part of her which is eternal, that existed before she was born and will continue on in the ever after. That part of her, her individual consciousness, is merging with the consciousness of her angels. That's what channeling is. They're merging like when you bake a cake, you put milk and sugar and eggs and flour and you whip it all up and you bake it in the oven, right? And then all of it's merged. Then you can't separate out the eggs and the sugar and the flour. It's all one thing, right? So that's what's happening with her right now. She's merging in with these angels. Go ahead, sweetie.
But you can also merge in with ETs,
Mm-hmm.
people who have passed, not
Exactly.
just angels,
Exactly. You can merge with enlightened masters.
and another person in 3D.
Exactly. And that's what happens a lot of times if you ever come home from a terrible day at work and you just feel like crap. It's because you have merged consciousnesses with a greedy business or an angry coworker. You didn't mean to, but your energies, your consciousness got entangled and you feel crappy as a result. But what we're doing tonight is we're intentionally merging your consciousness with your beautiful helpers. And Chuck is right. You can call on the consciousness of the Buddha, or if you're trying to solve a problem, a healing problem, Edgar Casey or Einstein, or it doesn't matter really. Every consciousness, individual consciousness, originated from source and is evolving back into source, and it's all a part of universal consciousness. They're just different aspects or focuses of God. You are a specific focus of God. You are a specific expression of the consciousness of God. So Carolyn is merging right now with her angels. So let's go back to that. Does it feel good, Carolyn? Yeah. They're just loving on you, aren't they?
I guess so.
Yeah. You know, and most of the time when you first meet your angels and you ask them what they wanted to say, they just want to tell you that they love you. That they love you. And that they're there for you.
Here,
You feel something? What do you feel?
warmth.
Yeah, warmth in your ears. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk to your angels a little bit. So thank you for being here. Thank you for your involvement with Carolyn tonight. Have you been with her for a long time? Have you been with her whole life?
Yes.
Okay, and you're a whole company or a group?
Lots.
Yeah, I hear Judah saying it's a platoon. I like that. Okay, good. Do you have a name for your group?
Never thought of a name.
Ask them. Yes, ask in your inner being. Say, what's your name?
What's your
There it is. You got it.
name? For some reason, Mary popped up.
Mary. Okay. So are you a collective of angels? Do you answer to Mother Mary? Is that who you are?
Maybe.
Okay, ask them.
You connected with Mother Mary.
It's good. Just open up, sweetie, and receive. Just surrender as much as you can. Maybe take some deep breaths. Somebody else has the answer, tell her. Yeah.
Yes.
It is a yes. That's right, sweetie. It's an absolute yes. You knew that, didn't you, Julie? Yeah, it's a yes. So there's some people that already talk with angels that can hear the answer. So, sweetie, you are being guarded by, in the company of, a collective of angels who are overseen by the Mother Mary. It's beautiful. They obviously love you very much.
Mm.
Anybody else? Let's do one more. Do we want to do one more? Or I can take another question for channeling.
There's someone in the back.
Yeah, you want to? Will you come right here? Will you come right here so I can see you? All right, tell everybody your name.
Nanette.
Nanette. Okay, that's good. You're good. Wherever you're comfortable, sweetie. All right, Nanette. Tonight's the night you get to meet your angels or your guides.
I already don't have them.
You do, sweetheart. They're right here. They love you so much. And I love you. Yeah, you've got big angels. Julie, can you put your hand on her back there, on the back side of her heart chakra? So first of all, we just announced that lie that you don't have angels, because you have so many friends, sweetie. And your angel friends are the ones that have given you this amazing creativity that you have. You have angels just constantly inspiring your creativity. Yeah, good. Good. Oh, all right. All right, take some deep breaths. Okay, so we just welcome the angels and guides of Nanette. And we thank you for your presence and care for her. I'm going to ask you to just manifest yourself to her right now and let her feel your presence. Good, yeah, very good. Okay, all right, so just let your thoughts kind of melt. Just let yourself go into kind of a dream state. And I'll ask you some yes or no questions. Yeah. Hello, beautiful angels of Nanette. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Angels, I ask that you just increase your presence and just erase that fear or that thought that she's doesn't have help from the other side, and just let her feel your presence all around her, especially around her head and her heart, and even burning in her heart chakra. So I want to ask, I'm going to speak first to the primary angel that has care for Nanette. Are you feminine in your orientation? And you can feel the answer, sweetie, right in your heart. You'll feel yes or no.
No.
No? Are you masculine in orientation? You're doing great, sweetie. You're fine. You're totally safe. We've got you, okay? Angel of Nanette, are you androgynous? It's okay. You're doing great, sweetheart. Thank you. Yeah, good. Oh, there it comes. Good. Oh, good. Yeah. Angel, can you drop your name into Nanette's heart and let her hear it? And when you get it, let me know, sweetie.